Right now at noon, a snag in plans to expand a multi-million-dollar facility to Carthage.
And we've got, well, a mostly cloudy day out there. Still some sunshine. Waiting for those storms, though. Look at your forecast coming up.
Plus, a Joplin dentist could soon have his license pulled following drug trafficking charges.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
This is KOAM News at noon. I'm Elise Noe. The Missouri Dental Board files a petition to pull the license of a Joplin dentist following a drug bust. The board says the move comes following the arrest of Dr. John H. Joseph for suspected involvement in a drug deal. The petition states that the board believes Joseph presents a serious danger to the health, safety, or welfare to patients. If granted, Joseph will no longer be able to practice dentistry. You can read a copy of the full petition on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Authorities arrested Joseph in March after an officer witnessed him and 2 others apparently engaging in a drug deal. A search of Joseph and his vehicle turned up more than 12 grams of fentanyl. Authorities say further investigation indicated Joseph had been traveling to Tulsa, where he would purchase fentanyl to deliver to the Joplin area. Authorities charged Joseph with trafficking drugs in the first degree and unlawful use of a weapon. Now let's head over to Chris Warner for a look at the forecast.
Yeah, we've got those clouds hanging around, and our afternoon shaping up very similarly to yesterday, where certain things out west haven't transpired in the way they were supposed to, and it's kind of put a bit of an interesting snag in our forecast here. That was live look downtown Pittsburgh. MoDOT camera 20th and range line. Cloudy skies there as well. Here's why. Look at that. We have these thunderstorms very similar to what we saw yesterday just outside of our area. The storms out west died as they were supposed to, but these ones decided that they wanted to play around a little bit, and so they're having an impact even that far west in what our expectations are heading into the rest of the evening. Our severe risk for later today into the overnight hours has not changed. It's still a low risk for parts of southeastern Kansas. Quick look at the numbers. 58 is where we started yesterday, 81 where we made it, so about 10 degrees warmer than where we should be, and we're still warming up again today. 74 Joplin, 72 in Pittsburgh, and around the region we've got again most of us into the 70s. 69 though in Sedan, a little cooler out there. Still watching for those pop-up storms, still watching for thunderstorm chances into the late evening hours and overnight. We'll go over the details on the full forecast and next week's potential severe risk here in just a few more minutes. Lisa?
All right, we'll see you soon, Chris. Thanks. Well, Schreiber Foods put their expansion plans in Carthage on hold. KOAM's Melissa Alexis spoke to the CEO of Carthage Economic Development Corporation to find out more about the decision.
Jeff Meredith is the CEO of the Carthage Economic Development Corporation, and he says he received notice that Schreiber Foods is putting their expansion in Carthage on hold last week.
The critical individuals at the city and the local utility know so that they could potentially pause or delay any of major purchases they were planning to do as part of that project themselves.
Schreiber Foods announced their expansion in Carthage in December. The project is expected to bring over 100 jobs and boost economic development in Carthage, something the mayor of Carthage welcomes.
Carthage has a long history of being very supportive of industries coming into town and staying in town for a long time. We sit strategically, essentially at the crossroads of I-49 and I-44.
Schreiber Foods is already a huge partner here in Carthage, Missouri. I believe they have approximately 1,500 employees at I want to say 4 facilities here in Carthage. So they're a great community partner today. Now obviously the additional growth of somewhere between 150 and 300 jobs would be huge for Carthage, Missouri.
Meredith says Schreiber Foods cited uncertain economic conditions as the reason for pausing expansion.
Given some of the uncertain economic conditions that we all see on a daily basis, it's not surprising. Interest rates are fluctuating regularly, the stock market's fluctuating regularly. And just from a national perspective, I've seen that other major corporations are also having pauses.
Both the mayor of Carthage and the CEO of the Carthage Economic Development Corporation remain optimistic that the project will eventually resume.
It was disappointing for us, but ultimately, again, this is a pause. They didn't say they're not looking at Carthage, they're not doing any of those things. And frankly, given some of the uncertain economic conditions that we all see on a daily basis, it's not surprising.
Reporting in Carthage, Melissa Alexis, KOAM News.
The expansion would include construction of a new production facility of more than 100,000 square feet. Well, Ghetto Tacos teamed up with Arvis Million Meals at Carthage Fire Department yesterday to combat food insecurity among students. Now, according to Arvis Million Meals, Missouri ranks 16th worst in the nation in the percentage of students who are food insecure. A percentage of every taco sold stays in Carthage to support its community.
Weekly, we pack about 350 weekend food packs for students pre-K through 12th grade, and we send those home to students who have been identified as food insecure, and we give them enough food to help get them through the weekend until they can get back to school on Monday.
These donations stay local in the community. They help our friends, our neighbors, everyone that we see from day to day.
Arvis says Arkansas ranks worst in the nation for food insecurity, and Oklahoma ranks 5th worst. Now, Kansas, on the other hand, does better than the national average. Arvis Million Meals will travel to other parts of the 4 states next month. Well, residents in southeast Kansas will soon have a new location for health care. Residents in southeast Kansas will soon have a new location at the Coffeyville Regional Medical Center, as it received a $300,000 grant to go towards building an almost 16,000 square foot primary care clinic. Now, for the grant provider James M. Cox Foundation, the effort serves as a way to benefit the community.
At Cox, it's important to us that we are connecting our communities to the things that matter most. And that is not just internet, it's also healthcare, it's access to education, it's sustainability and conservation. And today we're really focused on that healthcare piece of it and giving people an opportunity to have a great experience, sometimes when it's, the most important time of their life.
The new primary care clinic will serve not only Coffeyville, but more than 6 rural counties in Kansas. The new clinic should be complete by October of this year. The Crawford County Health Department held an event yesterday for future child care providers. The orientation session provided information for those interested in becoming a licensed child care provider in Crawford and Bourbon counties. The session covered information on the regulations pertaining to establishing a legal daycare service, specifically in-home daycare and non-residential daycare.
Because whenever you are licensed with the state, that means that you have had an extensive background check, and fingerprinting along with everybody in the home has also gone through that process. Being a licensed provider, you are required to have certain health and safety classes, safe sleep classes, first aid and CPR classes, as well as health and nutrition classes.
The Crawford County Health Department provides health services with a special emphasis on the prevention of disease and the education of people in the department's care. Coming up, what the president is saying about a timeline for trade deals with China. And later, we're making Steakhouse London Broil in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. The Grand River Dam Authority opened the floodgates on the Pensacola Dam yesterday at the direction of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. 4 main spillway and 2 east spillway gates opened to release some of the excess water. Now, by some, we mean more than 52,000 cubic feet per second. Thanks to KOAM Shannon Becker and Fly Home Aviation in Grove for the bird's eye view. Well, China today is denying President Trump's claim that the 2 sides are actively negotiating over tariffs. It comes as the administration is trying to finalize deals with the trading partners before a current pause on reciprocal tariffs runs out in July. Natalie Brand has the latest from the White House.
President Trump is meeting with Norway's Prime Minister this afternoon as the White House tries to make as many trade deals as it can in the coming weeks. The administration says it's spoken to 90 countries so far.
They all want to make deals, and we're going to make deals, but they're going to be fair deals. They're not going to be rip-off deals.
But there are mixed messages over the status of talks with China. The Treasury Secretary said this week formal negotiations have not yet begun. But President Trump indicated Wednesday they are actively talking and that the current 145% tariff on Chinese imports could come down.
If we don't have a deal with a company or a country, we're going to set the tariff. We just set the tariff. It's something that we think that will happen, I'd say, over the next couple of weeks. Wouldn't you say? I think so. Over the next 2-3 weeks. We'll be setting the number. And we're going to pick, could be for China too.
CBS News has confirmed the CEOs of Walmart and Target privately warned President Trump that his tariff policy could disrupt supply chains and potentially result in empty shelves in coming weeks.
The ripple effects are already starting to show. Prices are going up, markets are reacting, international partners are pulling back.
Arizona's Attorney General and 11 other states have filed a new lawsuit alleging the president exceeded his authority in imposing the tariffs. The White House has defended its policy, arguing the U.S. trade deficit is a national emergency. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Still to come on KOAM News at noon, Mr. Food.
The key to having a tender steak without spending a bundle is just moments away. So grab a fork and your appetite.
And we're still tracking thunderstorm chances as we head later into today through the weekend and next week. The latest when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM News at noon. So, some good news in a way. How things are panning out heading into the afternoon, it's starting to repeat just like yesterday. The bad news is that does leave our storm chances and the timing a little up in the air. Let's start with that look outside downtown Pittsburgh. Skies are mostly cloudy. Now, you recall if you were with us this morning, that wasn't supposed to be the case, was it? It was not. We were expecting at least some clearing because showers and storms off to our west were going to die. Well, they did. And that's perfectly fine. That's what they were supposed to do. However, we have new development that began almost immediately after that is now closing in our western counties. I want to emphasize this activity is not strong or severe at this point, but we have this development here. We head down around Tulsa. We have this development here. Now, the storms that were down here initially this morning were actually moving southeast. Well, a new development that's taking place out here is rolling northeast, and this activity is still on par for what it was doing earlier when it was considerably further west. So that has kind of thrown a little bit of a wrench into the expectations for our storms later today, because a similar event happened yesterday. In between Wichita and around Hutchinson, a band of storms developed. And when it did, it sucked up a lot of the energy out ahead of that line, and so our thunderstorm chances that we were supposed to have early this morning across southeast Kansas never materialized. So here's what we're looking at. Some good news here is our severe risk has not changed really either since this morning. We have a low hail risk across parts of southeast Kansas, as well as that low wind risk out there. So we're talking some gusty winds, small hail with some of the stronger storms. What we now have to keep an eye on is whether or not what you are about to see on the future track is going to unfold the way it's supposed to because of this thunderstorm development out to our west and southwest. So by 2, and you can see the future track is not necessarily catching up with those showers and storms that are developing out there right now. And it updates roughly every hour. And it hasn't really caught up with what they're going to do. So heading into the evening, I'm going to say this. This may not be exactly what we get. We might have a few isolated to widely scattered storms by 5 o'clock in this zone here. Now, will it be a line of intense storms? Not likely. But will we have some scattered storms earlier and in places we weren't supposed to? I think that's exactly what we're going to be looking at. That will then play a role on this, which the future track does still believe is going to pan out late tonight into early tomorrow morning. But remember, there were 3 rounds of storms from this morning. Well, those aren't on here anymore either. We get that first one, and we have a strong storm or low-grade severe storm with it. It breaks up by 3 o'clock in the morning. We get that next line back behind it around 5. That's still showing up on the future track, but that third line at 10 a.m. is not on here. So it's trying to take into account some of the changes that are taking place. And as I mentioned, part of the problem, what's making it a little more difficult for all the computer models to keep up with everything that's happening is we don't have a cold front. We don't have some kind of system that's triggering the thunderstorm activity. It's almost like those summer pop-up storms we get, June or July. We're just getting these waves. And so they're just kind of triggering storms wherever there's available instability. Now, as we go into the weekend, a few more scattered storms. We head into Monday. We're still watching whether or not these storms will be able to break through that cap. And if they can, we are looking at strong to severe thunderstorms late Monday night into Tuesday morning, and then additional development taking place as we head through Tuesday evening into very early Wednesday morning. And just a quick reminder on our severe weather risks as we head into Monday night into Tuesday, and then Tuesday night into early Wednesday. We still have those chances out there. Outside of that, though, we're still looking to make about 80 today around the region, upper 70s, some low 80s here and there. 70s through the weekend, warm again on Monday, and then cool next Friday into the upper 60s. But you got plans this afternoon, just be prepared for a stray shower or thunderstorm out there.
Absolutely, Chris. Thanks. We'll stick around. We're making steakhouse London broil in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. We'll be right back. Here's Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
If you're like me, every once in a while you get the hankering for a juicy steak that won't break the bank. So I thought I'd share one of my favorite cuts with you. It's London broil, and right now we're finding it at some pretty good prices. And just in case you're not familiar with it, let me show you how easy it is to cook up. We start with what's called a top round steak or a London broil. Now, if you've ever grilled one and it curled up on you, here's a trick to prevent that. All we do is cut slits in it about a 1/4 inch deep in a diagonal pattern. Once that's done, we sprinkle both sides of it with some steak seasoning, making sure we rub it into all the nooks and crannies that we've just cut. Now we can cook this on a grill pan, under the broiler, or outdoors on the grill. That's up to you. And when it comes to cooking London broil, make sure you keep it to the medium rare to medium side. This way it won't dry out. Now while this cooks, we saute some mushrooms in a little butter along with a bit of garlic powder and chopped parsley. Now the key to having this melt in your mouth is to slice it thinly across the grain. And when you top this with the mushrooms and all that flavor-packed sauce, get ready for some good eating. So what do you say you go online and get the recipe for our Steakhouse London broil? And tomorrow, we'll share the recipe for our roasted party potatoes to serve with them. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a steakhouse kind of way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
Now here's a look at the Poor State market prices.
All right, we're continuing to see these scattered showers and storms off to the west here, so we'll just have to kind of keep an eye out for some of these pop-up showers and thunderstorms. Nothing severe expected, but just a heads up as you are heading into the afternoon out there. Otherwise, again, near 80 today, mid-70s tomorrow, a few more scattered storms all the way into next week, and then from Monday night into Wednesday morning, we are still watching that severe threat, so we want to keep a close eye on that.
Absolutely.
Sure.
All right, thanks. Javadier for us later on.
Well, a whole lot's coming up at 5. For starters, there's gold in mountains of electronic waste. We're going to see how scientists are working to make it easier to extract that gold. Plus, Newton County deputies investigate a littering violation after a large amount of garbage was dumped near I-49. And the YMCA in Carthage unites men in business. Hope you join us for those stories, a lot more. Of course, it's coming up on KOAM News at 5.
All right, Del, thanks. Have a great rest of your day.